What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back for a brand new episode of Chaos Ed Noah. Last time we were on, we continued on with the Yua route, in which Takumi was just hanging out in his base until Yua comes over and pretty much ties him up in order to, quote-unquote, bring out Shogun from within him, which obviously it doesn't, because Takumi doesn't have multiple personalities. He has multiple bodies, but he doesn't have multiple personalities. Now, let's be realistic here. And so, over the course of a couple of days, Yua kind of mentally tortures Takayumi into doing what she wants, until finally she decides enough is enough and decides to show Takayumi her sister's diary, where she wrote "Whose eyes are those eyes" over and over again. Except, Takayumi notices something. It doesn't say Mia's diary on the front of it. It says Yua's diary instead. This obviously creates a panic within Yua, saying that no, it was her younger sister that died. Mia, not her. And she even tries to prove it by taking off her clothes in order to prove that Mia had a mole under one of her underneath her chest. But when she takes off her dress and blouse, there's a mole right underneath it. As it turns out, just a couple hours before the group dive incident, Mia meets up with Yua and they do a kind of close switch because Mia doesn't really want to hang out with the people she met online. She's too shy or just doesn't want to meet them at all. And so, because of that, the person that went in her place was actually Yua, instead of herself as Mia. And so this entire time, the person we've been talking to, we've been seeing, was actually Mia imitating her sister Yua due to a combination of survivor's guilt and psychosis, really. To believe that Mia was her older sister of Yua instead. And so right now, after the earthquake has struck, Mia has decided to end her life, and she brings Takayumi along with her. And so, we're gonna find out, like, how does this end, really? So, let's get right into it. With my body supported by Mia, the two of us began walking in the direction of Shibuya. Shibuya transformed into a city of death. Everywhere you looked, corpses were strewn across the ground. Some were covered in blood, some had their limbs severed, and some had their heads crushed. Not even a shred of human dignity could be seen in the absolute hellscape spread out before us. Not a single glimmer of the city's former glory remained. The only thing it held now were death, ash, and despair. Nothing more. Huge cracks tore through the roads. Large scars indicative of how it could all come crashing down at any moment. Huge chunks of debris had fallen from the crumbling buildings, blocking our way. It was difficult to even walk in a straight line. But none of that was enough to make us lose focus of our goal. Mia and I marched on, completely disregarding the cries for help around us. Our destination was the building towering above in the distance, Cornelius Tower. The tower was still standing. The outer walls were crumbling in certain spots, but the structure itself had more or less tanked the earthquake. It still stood straight and tall. As far as we could tell from the outside, it seemed that the lights were off on every floor. Everyone had evacuated, leaving the building vacant and abandoned. Oh boy. Naturally, the lobby was completely empty. There didn't seem to be any electricity either, so the elevator didn't work. Our only option to get to the rooftop would be the emergency stairs. Oof. When the details behind the group dive case had appeared online, I had done a little digging into the building. Cornelius Tower stood at 184 meters tall, with 41 floors above ground. There was absolutely no way I could climb that many floors, not even when I couldn't even walk straight with this headache. And yet Mia kept on supporting me, leaning on her. We climbed the stairs step by step, sweat dripping down our foreheads.
お父さんとお母さんは私が自分のことを ゆあちゃんだって言い出して気を使ってくれたんだと思う。私をゆあとして扱ってミアが死んだことにしたのかも。
She was talking to herself. I listened along in silence. Well, she probably didn't need me to listen. She was just talking aloud, and I just happened to be there.
昔からそうだった。私は生意気な娘だったから。両親はいつも私を腫れ物にでも触るかのように扱ったわ。
Damn.
ミアを死んだことにするなんてね。親はユアちゃんよりミアに死んでほしかったのかもしれない。それも全部私のせいだけど、自分がユアちゃんだと思い込んだ私のせいよ。
No, I don't think it was entirely on you. I think Syl had a bit to do with that.
ユアちゃんが死んだみたいに私も死ねばいいのよ。
ユアはどんな人だったの？
憧れだった。羨ましかった。たまにイラついたりしたけど嫌いじゃなかった。むしろ大好きだった。ユアちゃんのこと大好きだった。私のことを分かってくれるたった一人のかけがえのない人だったもの。
Damn.
ユアちゃんが笑顔でいてくれれば私はどんなに辛いことがあっても嬉しかった。いつも私のこと心配してくれたわ。心配させてるのが申し訳なくて私はつい冷たく接してた。それなのにいつも優しくて。ユアちゃん
Nia kept climbing the stairs, tears gently streaming down her face. Were they tears of regret, tears of sorrow, or tears of guilt? That I couldn't tell. Oh, shit. The wind was stronger than I thought it would be on the helipad. A panorama of Shibuya's nightscape spread out right before our eyes, but now its former brilliance was nowhere to be found. The city had been fully engulfed in darkness. One could just barely make out landmarks like Tokyo Tower, Wopengungni Bills, or other buildings situated in Shinjuku in the distance. The Shibuya beneath our feet was veiled in complete and utter silence. There was very little light, allowing darkness complete reign over the ruined city. If it were noon, then Shibuya's new form would be nothing less than stupefying.
西条くん、もしよかったら。
Oh boy. Nia gently let me go, retracting the arm that had been supporting me. I immediately sank down to the ground, not a single ounce of energy left in my legs.
一緒に飛んでくれない？
Nia stared deep into the dark night. Fierce gusts of wind sent her long hair fluttering in the sky, hiding their expression from view. That was when I realized Mia had come here to jump, to follow her in her sister's footsteps. With that in mind, my answer was clear.
やだね。僕は死にたくない。なんで僕を監禁した女と心中しなくちゃいけないんだ。
そう言うと思った。
One step at a time, Mia walked toward the edge of the heliport, facing the strong wind head-on.
そうそう、西条くんと予約しに行ったセイラちゃんのフィギュア。
Suddenly she stopped and turned around.
ちゃんと買ったのよ。とても可愛くてセクシーだね。すっかり気に入っちゃって私の部屋の机の上に飾ってあるの。
A transient smile spread over Mia's lips. Of all the times for her to say that, said that, why now?
そんなこと言っても僕は君に同情しない。
同情なんて求めてないわ。 それじゃさよなら西条くん。私を殺した人。
Fuck.
私もゆあちゃんのところに行くね。
Shit. What Nishijou-kun had just said was very reasonable. It was strange though, and it made me feel one way. There was this heart-rending pain in my chest. In the end, I had never been afforded the opportunity to confirm whether or not he was Shogun. Maybe he had been telling the truth, and I was the one who got it all wrong. But even if I wasn't wrong, there's no point in holding a grudge against him now. If only I hadn't asked Yua-chan to switch places with me back then. If only I had just gone to the offline to meet myself, then Yua-chan would still be alive. Yua-chan hadn't deserved to die. She had so many friends. My parents had loved her more than anything, and she'd been the smartest, most beautiful girl I'd ever met. And yet she had died anyway. Kusunoki Yua had died anyway. And when she had, Kusunoki Miya had disappeared along with her. She'd vanished into thin air, becoming a ghost. That was the choice I had made back then. I could no longer tell whether I was alive or dead. All I knew was that Yua-chan wasn't here anymore, so I'd rather be dead. I stood at the edge of the helipad, where Yua-chan and the other four had jumped off that night. Looking down made me feel dizzy. The whole nightscape was pitch black. All the lights in the city had gone out, and yet, even in that darkness, I could still tell just how high up I really was. I wondered how Yua-chan had felt when she jumped off here. She had probably been terrified. I'm sorry, Yua-chan. I'm sorry you had to go through something so terrifying because of me. I'll be going too, very soon. I will take the pain that you endured, the pain that I alone was supposed to feel, and engrave it onto my body, Yua-chan. I took a deep breath. My heart and mind were at peace. I wasn't afraid of dying. I spread my wings, my arms way in the empty air. I closed my eyes, and then I stepped forward into the bottomless abyss before me. And with nothing there to support me anymore, I fell. Oh my god. My whole world turned upside down. There was nothing left to chain me back. Even though I was in free fall, it almost felt like I was floating amid the rumbling of the wind. The ground was rushing toward me, the very same asphalt that Yua-chan had crashed into 2 months back. The hardened tar that had crushed her bones, ruptured her organs, and sprayed her blood and gray matter across itself. I don't want to die. Just a moment ago, I hadn't been afraid to die, but the second I had lost control of my body, I had been overcome with a tremendous sense of dread. Yeah. I don't want to die. Even if Yua-chan had died, I still wanted to live. This was just my survival instincts taking over. I screamed. I screamed from the bottom of my soul. I desperately reached out my hand to the distant night sky above me. I knew there was no one that could grab onto it, but I reached out all the same. There's no end to my screams. I pleaded. I don't want to die. But nobody heard me. Nobody grabbed my hand. I simply fell, with the earth coming closer and closer. Ugh. God. I had felt my body shatter into a million pieces, but the feeling had disappeared soon after. Oh. When I came to, I found myself collapsed on the roof of Cornelius Tower. Oh shit. Damn, I thought it was going to be like a flower patch or something. Nishijou-kun was in front of me. He still wasn't looking at me, but he was reaching his hand out, even so.
なんで
I had definitely jumped, no doubt about it. I had definitely taken that nearly 180-meter dive and smashed right into the ground. But now I just sat there, seeing Nishijou-kun's hands. Utterly dumbfounded, I even forgot to wipe away the tears streaming down my face.
気が済んだ。
Nishijou-kun's words were blunt and curt.
君に死なれるのは困るんだ。まるで僕が突き落としたみたいじゃないか。僕は殺人犯扱いされたくないね。
私落ちたのに自分で飛び降りたのに。
妄想でも見てたんじゃない。
A delusion? You told me all those sensations, all that pain was just a delusion? That's impossible, it felt so real.
ねえ西条くん、ゆあちゃんはあんな痛い思いをして死んだんだね。なのに私ゆあちゃんと同じ痛みを味わおうとしたのに、私は
I mean, who the hell can?
死にたくないって思っちゃったの。本来死ぬのは私だったのに死にたくないって。もう飛べない。あの痛みを知ってしまったらもう怖くて飛べない。私どうすればいいのか。
今ので君は一度死んだ。ユアの痛みを知ったならもうそれでいいじゃないか。
Damn.
これからはもう一度楠木宮として一から生きていけばいいと思う。ユアの分まで。
ありがとう。ありがとう。
I reached for a hand that he extended out to me and took it. It was so very, very warm. I could feel his body heat through his palm. A warmth so comforting I felt my hand stop shaking. Alright then. That is Yua's ending. Alright, let's see there. Okay. Okay. So obviously that round was all about identity and yeah, it really was just like about identity, survivor's guilt, and all of that. You know, you can't just you know, pretty much kill yourself in order to live, you know. She only fought that because she just didn't deserve to be here, and that her sister deserved to be here. But how can you make that up to your sister? Would your sister want that for you? You know. But Takumi was able to pull her back quite literally because of his reality-altering powers. But yeah, that was good. We got to know a lot more about Mia instead of Yua. But yeah, okay, cool. Cool. I want to like look at these lyrics actually. Thankfully, this translation has actual lyric translations, which is pretty cool. It still is very, sick that each route has its own unique ED at the end of it, sung by the voice actress. I feel that's like that's so cool. Like I feel like that's like so like how many other tell me how many other games can you say that has that? Maybe other visual novels have that. I haven't played many traditional visual novels, but it's a really it just adds that little bit more personalization to each route. Sun and moon ending. Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe that route. It is the sun and the moon, you know. Can't have one without the other, and if one's dead, then the other has to go with it, but it can also continue to live on. But yeah, let us continue on with the next route, which is Oasis route, which is in Chapter 2, so we can actually utilize our shortcut thing. Actually, no. Before we do that, let's go into our tips real quick, because we got a new one. Woes, here we go. To be precise, it is not Kensoki Iwa who wields this sword, but Kensoki Miya. It is characterized by the red petals that dance in the air, whenever it is real booted. This symbolizes the complex Miya held with her sister Iwa, where she felt as if Iwa had everything she lacked: elegance, femininity, and kindness. There is a Japanese phrase that reads, "following as flowers do," that is used to reference those who die young, often in battle or in some other tragic manner. As per this phrase, Mia's sword also symbolizes her deep mourning for her sister's death, for her own erasure of the existence known as Kensoki Mia, and a repose of both of their souls. Cool. Following as flowers do. I don't think I've heard that phrase before. Interesting, yeah. Well, I mean, flowers are used, from the little I've seen of like anime and stuff and just tropes, roses or flowers are used to symbolize death quite a bit in Japanese culture, really. So that's it's very interesting. And yeah, can't have one without the other. All right, now let us continue on with Oasis route. We can just start off at Chapter 2, which is great. I don't have to look at the damn beginning again and again. Alright. I'm gonna skip all these. Okay, negative worked on me. Gotcha. So I'm going to guess this is at the club. When we first do that. I think I did like neutral here. I think I did negative last time. Or did I do negative last time? Or did I do neutral? You know, let's go with positive just to see what happens. I think I already did this. Yeah, I did. Just making sure. But Luis, this is going to be an interesting one. I feel like this one is going to be very in-depth with what it's going to be about. Because Luis is a very, from the little we've seen of her, it seems like a very interesting character, you know. And really, like, kind of the most broken character. I mean, yeah, well, that's kind of subjective, but, like, we know kind of the most about her besides Remy, really. You know, she went to the mental hospital, she's already a Gigawomaniac. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see more about her and what is her demon, you know? What is the thing that is killing her inside? Is it fame? Is it just simply the trauma of her past and how she tries to repress it via phantasma, you know? So, let's find out. Okay, negative. Did I ever do negative beforehand with this? Yes, I did. Yes, it's this. Okay, here we go. Fess must be asking me for salvation. So let's see what I gotta do. Okay, so we gotta go Luis. We gotta go yes. I want to give in to Fess's seduction. We go no. I'm sure jumping off would feel amazing. Let's see here. Yes, no. Okay, last for your yeses. Alright, yes. Jumping off would feel amazing. I don't care if I die as long as it's together with Fess. Yes. I want to be set free from everything. Yes. Here we go. Pound in the steak? Okay, that's an interesting achievement name, but okay. I couldn't give any response. I had no idea what to do. Fess said nothing back to me either. She just spread her arms out wide, taking on a pose as if she'd been crucified. Suddenly the rain and the wind stopped. I tried to say something, but I couldn't make a sound. Nothing would come out of my mouth. Fess's body slowly tilted backward. Everything seemed to be happening in slow motion. I tried to reach out toward Fess, but my own movements were in slow motion too, so I could only work on in frustration as my arms slowly extended out in front of me. Fess was already closing her eyes, and not too long after, her figure disappeared from my line of sight. Ooh. Damn. Interesting. Okay, so when is this game will... Okay, so it branches off in Chapter 7. It usually, yeah. Looks like all these routes always branch out in Chapter 7, except for the Nami's, where it branches out in Chapter 6. Okay. Alright, now time to wait. Oh, shit. As morning progressed, Kishimoto Oe stood before the school gate, watching the sky absent-mindedly. Students passed by on either side, and she paid no attention to the strange look she received from them. Her gaze was full of emptiness. From her perspective, school was utterly pointless. Her reason being, she knew the world would end very soon. Even as a second year, she felt out of place wearing a school uniform. This was no time to be attending school, so she believed. Still, she occasionally went in order to continue her search for the gate and the other Black Knights. Sumire Academy was the place where the Black Knights would gather, or rather, it was the place where they would be gathered. That was the conclusion she had reached. From a young age, Elise had been seen as a problem child. She never finished middle school, thus preventing her from enrolling in high school. In spite of this, she transferred into Sumire Academy during May of her first year, a day she remembered vividly, even now. She had stood before the gate on that day, just as she was now. Until then, she had been institutionalized by Arkheart Medical. During that time, she endured a hellish trial in order to become a Black Knight. 1 month of psychiatric treatment later, she was finally discharged. The hospital's director, a man whose name she had long since forgotten, spoke to her at that time. Starting tomorrow, you'll be attending high school in Shibuya at Sumire Academy. I've done all the work needed to enroll you already. She was not told why. Those words still in her mind, the day she had arrived before the school gate, she remembered something to herself.
天空赤く染まるとき、邪神王の帯同と呼応し、7つの黒き邪神は生まれ、やがて聖域へと召喚される。そして宣言するのだ。悪夢よ、最悪よ、暗黒なる肉塊たちよ。邪神により邪神はほふられ、邪神王が支配する世界は砕け散ると。
They were verses of the legend from the Kaldor book of Psalms and Revelation, a prophecy Elise had taken to heart. One she uttered only because she knew now for certain this was the gathering place of the Black Knights. Thus, she would continue waiting. Thus, she would continue searching. And as time passed, she had never felt a single trace of wickedness. Until now. At last she could sense a presence. The presence of a potential Black Knight. Yet it certainly kept her waiting, but the change was wholly a welcome one.
もう時間はないわ。グラジオールの復活はすぐそこ。
Her words, a faint, quiet murmur. Another Black Knight. With this thought, Louise passed through the gate, seeking the boy she had met at the concert venue. Yeah. It's like Sua and the nurse, really. She was, because if I remember, I think it was confirmed that Arc Medical was under the, well, obviously it was under Nozomi, because that's where they were testing or forcing people to become maniacs and shit like that, right? So obviously they kind of like, maybe they didn't exactly brainwash her, but more like, I wouldn't say brainwashing, it's more like her coping mechanism to justify the pain she had gone through, justify why she went through so much pain and suffering. She sees it as a trial in order to become a great Black Knight, a hero that destroys the corrupted king. That all these trials and torture she went through was for a purpose. Now the question is, why did she try to kill herself? Because we did see that. We always see that. She always tries to jump off when the first earthquake happens, right? She attempts to kill herself. And from her perspective, we saw that she sees it as a way to go to another place. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe what Elisa's like demon is escapism. Like pure and simple, just pure escapism to weave this reality in order to get away from all the pain she has already been through in this life from such a young age. Yeah, I feel like the main theme of this one is going to be just pure escapism. For Luis, at least. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Oh, shit. Here we go. Alright, finally something new, huh? If I didn't do as she said, Yua would kill me. Believing that would happen, I didn't resist and just nodded along. Oh boy, how the hell is this good?
どうしても伝えたかった。好き。好きなの。分かって。大好き。分かってよ。私のものになって。お願い。
Of course, I thought that confessions were supposed to be romantic, heartrending, and happy. But this wasn't like that. This was terrifying. Every word it sent chills down my spine. In a situation like this, I normally confess my love as well, but here felt like I'd be signing my own death sentence if I did. I had no choice but to be queer and refuse. This girl was nothing more than a stalker. If I didn't refuse her here and now, I would be totally fucked. I forcefully shook off Yua's hand. Yua's expression became tense, as if in shock. She hung her head, and her demeanor instantly turned timid. Oh, this damn face is like a sad puppy. Fucking every time I see it.
そんなに嫌われてたなんて。ごめんなさい。もう付きまといません。さようなら、西条くん。
She pulled herself away and turned her back to me. Her shoulders drooped. And then she shakily walked out of the private room. I said it. I said it! Seeing you crying like that actually made me feel relieved. Couldn't help but be happy that I'd finally been freed of that and stalker. So much so that I unconsciously struck a victory pose. Anyway. Only to suddenly come back to myself. This life was never that easy. Yua was right in front of me, covering my mouth.
西条くんのこと騙してたわけだし。
She was murmuring something in a quiet whisper. I hadn't heard what she said at all. I'd have been busy escaping from reality. How nice would it have been if that delusion had been real. With no way for my wish to come true, Yua continued to talk.
でもお願いです。一つだけ言わせてください。これ以上あなたが傷つくのも、あなたが不幸になるのも、あなたのせいで不幸になる人が出るのも見たくないんです。
What was she talking about? She was talking as if she knew everything about me. Despite the fact that we hadn't even spent 24 hours together. Just what the hell did this girl actually know about me? Is this just another one of her signature batshit insane delusions? A shudder ran through me and I started throwing my arms and legs, but even so Yua didn't let go. If this went on for much longer, this girl might actually kill me. Had Shogun given up on trying to trap me and just send Yua as an assassin instead? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die!
ごめんなさい。お願いだから静かにしてください。話はすぐ終わりますから。
Oh, shit. The tone of her voice was meek, but the power behind Yua's hands as she held me down was so strong, even if I tried to resist, she wouldn't budge an inch. I couldn't believe that such slender hands could be so powerful.
西条くん。
Yua inched her face closer and closer to mine, desperately turned my head away.
もう。
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Mia's fucking strong, despite her look about her. Oh shit. My vision suddenly went pitch black. Felt something push against my eyes. What the hell?
誰だ。
No fucking way. Could this be the legendary Guess Who game? The one just stated only exists within the world 2D, yet she said the classic line. Could it well and truly be? I never thought I ever experienced it in my lifetime. As of right now, I basically won the game alive. No, hang on, calm down. There's no way I'd encounter an urban legend in the third dimension, surely. Right. What was I thinking? That was no delusion. I had to be. I mean, it was an urban legend, aka something that nobody could confirm the existence of. Phew, almost had me there. Managed to regain my composure. If this is the delusion, I wanted to get back to reality ASAP. That way I could just get it over with, kind of like jumping into a lake or something. That way it hurt less. On the other hand, why don't I just indulge myself in this blissful fantasy for a little while? Sure, grimly in my mind.
ヒントはね、名前に「り」がつく。
Yeah, it was pretty obvious, even without the hint. I could tell the moment she opened her mouth. After all, I was trained in the art of working out the voice actor just by hearing the anime character talk. That said, I wasn't a VA otaku or anything like that. This was just a natural stage of progression for anyone who watched anime.
あれ？わからない？第2ヒント。名前に「み」がつく。
You just gave away the answer. What a complete dunce. And again, oh, Remy, you're so cute, Remy. There's a simple reason as to why I couldn't answer. Well, I obviously knew the answer. Saying the name out loud was pretty damn embarrassing. Well, since it was a delusion, I should just play along.
み。
ピンポーン。
Her hands were released my face. I opened my eyes. I turned around and, to no surprise, found Remy standing there.
待たしちゃってごめんね。
Damn. Wait, what? I wasn't waking up from the delusion? Usually it would just end here, and I suddenly return to my senses. I tried pinching my cheek. No, wait, that's how you tell if you're in a dream, but dreams and delusions aren't all that different, so it's not really wrong to use that method, but ouch, my cheek hurts, what the fuck? Wait, is this actually real? Upon realizing this, I instantly became embarrassed. My face shot straight to the ground.
どうしたの？顔赤いよ。
In spite of her words, Hermie's cheeks were dyed a white scarlet. But maybe that was just because the sunset was shining down on her. Maybe.
さあ、帰ろう。
Damn, that was cute. Fuck. Damn this game. Damn this fucking game, man. Fuck. God.
それにしても驚いた。
Shit. Hazuki-san's eyes widened, and she moved in to study my face closely.
まさか西條さんが目覚めるなんて。
え？
She made it sound as if she hadn't expected me to wake up. Was she disappointed? Was she trying to say that the world would be better off if a piece of garbage like me just stayed asleep for the rest of my life? When she said that to me, I really did start to wish I'd never woken up. But then Hazuki-san gave me an explanation that was far different from what I imagined.
あなたはこの1ヶ月近くずっと昏睡状態だったんですよ。
Damn.
原因不明のまま眠り続けていたんです。
What the hell? A month? When did I...
今日って。
落ち着いて聞いてくださいね。今日は10月28日です。
October 28th. That checked out, at least with what I remembered. Which meant that it had been a whole month since I witnessed the crucifixion. I was at a loss for words.
あ、そうだ。先生に伝えないといけませんよね。こんなにのんびり検温してる場合じゃなかったわ。ここで待っていてくださいね。すぐに先生を呼んできますから。
After she finished rambling at me, Hazuki-san bolted out of the hospital room in a panic.
僕が1ヶ月昏睡状態だった。
So how the hell was this good? I stared down at my palms, mumbling that to myself in a daze. That meant that everything that happened in the past month had all been a dream. Ah, okay. I couldn't believe I got slammed with the "it was all a dream" plot twist. But strangely enough, it didn't bother me. In fact, when she told me it was all a dream, it made everything surprisingly easy to understand. There was no such thing as discords or turning delusions into reality or whatever else. All of it fell apart the second I actually thought about it. It had all been an illusion, a simple delusion that I created. It was pretty sad that meeting Remy had been just a dream too, but I wasn't being hunted by Shogun. I wasn't Japan's favorite punch wine. And Nanami hadn't been kidnapped either. Oh, thank God.
よかった。
My vision blurred, but when I looked upward to hold back the tears... Hazuki-san entered the room, and her eyes widened upon seeing me.
あら。西條さん、目が覚めたんですね。
A gentle smile accompanied her as she said that. My confusion rushing back, I froze.
お体の調子はどうですか？
Hazuki-san held out a thermometer to me so naturally I couldn't help but take it. What the fuck?
体温を測ってくださいね。
As I took the thermometer from her, I gulped. It's the same. The exact thing from before was repeating. It was as if Hazuki-san just walked into the hospital room for the first time. I nervously reached out for the thermometer in my underarm. I was sure I'd put a thermometer in there just a minute ago, and yet there was nothing there. The thermometer had disappeared. Had it been just a delusion? When did the delusions end and reality start? Was me being hunted down by Shogun and becoming Japan's favorite punchline reality? My mood instantly took a turn for the worse. Ooh, shit. That's That was scary. Oh, that's creepy as shit. Oh. I guess that's just, like, Takayumi's, like, reality-altering delusions. Just... It's so real to him, you know? It's so utterly and completely real. Oh, shit. According to the minimum attendance chart, I didn't have to go to school today. But despite that, I came to school anyway for one reason, and one reason only. To see Remy. I had no doubt that the DQNs in class would make fun of me, just like they always did. It would definitely suck, but if it meant I could see Remy, I could endure it. It was also possible that Shogun could show up again. He also seemed to be playing with me like it was some kind of game. After all, maybe he'd feel like sending me out on another quest soon. Just the thought alone terrified me. I tried to grasp my disc sword, but even that was just to protect myself from him. Without that sword, how could I ever hope to escape his evil clutches? Maybe if Remy was by my side like she said she would be, but she'd been absent from school, wait, which worried me. What if she'd been taken hostage, just like Nanami? Was there anyone out there who could help me? I entered the classroom, my head pointed straight at the floor. Before taking my seat, I took a quick look around. I looked toward Remy's seat first. Empty. Was she taking today off too? Was it really that simple? Was she really just taking time off? I began to feel anxious. Next, I looked over at Kazupi's desk. She was in her seat, face down and huddled up.
Ohayo, Takumi-san.
This sprite is so funny to me. There is just some really funny sprite. I don't know. I think it's just the way her arms are posed in this sprite is so fucking cute and funny to me. Morning, Kazupi. I didn't make eye contact, but I greeted her with my inner voice. The female DQNs were watching me, smirking. Cunts. Damn. It was no different from yesterday. They'd all but already labeled me as that otaku freak who said he was psychic and made an ass of himself on TV, and that label wasn't going to go away anytime soon. The male DQNs didn't seem to have arrived yet. It was pretty common for them to skip first period, and that was fine by me. I took my seat. Suddenly someone crouched me on the back.
Oh, Taku.
It was Masumi-kun, with an uncomfortable look on his face. The swap was a lot weaker than usual. He certainly had no issue ignoring me before. I start paying attention to me now all of a sudden. I'm sure that he'll regret talking to me and become the DQN's next target just like me. Yeah, Masumi-kun, even you'd be better off not associating with an otaku freak like me. I remained silent, but Masumi-kun forced a smile.
暗いな。朝から新規臭いぜ。ま、お前はそういうやつだって分かってるけどな。
As harsh as his words were, I didn't get the feeling that he was joking or acting sarcastic. After all, it was pretty common for him to say stuff like that.
あれだ。この前は悪かったな。
Oh.
自分の立ち位置ってのもつかみかねててな。でもまあ、いろいろ考えて、やっぱ今まで通りで行くことにしたからよ。よろしくな。
He had an indifferent expression on his face. You seriously want to keep talking with me, same as always? Do you actually enjoy hanging out with an otaku freak like me? Even though there's nothing to gain from it? Shit, I was actually getting wet now. Sumi-kun wanted to fuck me in the air. What the fuck? Dog, what the fuck is this visual novel making me read, bro? It always when I'm doing these, when I'm reading out these sentences, I'm like reading them word by word, so it takes me a second. It takes me a half a second to realize what the fuck I'm saying. I... What the fuck? Give me a second. Give me a second. Holy shit. Oh, that really fucking swapped me awake. Holy fucking, when you think you've seen everything this game has to offer you, it fucking smacks you across the fucking face with this shit. This fucking one of a kind. Truly one of a kind. Fucking peak, bro. Fucking... Okay, can I say this with a straight face? Alright. Oh my god, I don't think I can. Oh my god. Nobody fucking clip this. Shit, I was... Oh my god. God damn it. Shit, I was actually getting wet now. If Misumi-kun wanted to fuck me in the ass right then, I probably wouldn't have been able to say no. Oh my fucking god. That's the best take you're gonna get out of me.
まあ、正直なところを言うと、お前に優しくしてやることで、俺は女にモテるわけだ。
Yeah, fuck you, Misumi. And don't you how dare you, man? You know what I just thought right now, you son of a bitch? I'm sorry. That fucking came out of left fucking field. Holy shit, man. Oh my god.
あんなダメ人間にもわけ隔てなく接するなんてとってもかっこいい人だわ、キャってな。
Yeah, fuck you, Misumi. Misumi Daisuke, go die in a hole. And to think I was this close to falling for you. Full homo. If you just didn't open your stupid mouth, nobody would have ever realized you were such a narcissist. Worst of all, as if I needed even needed to say it, was that it was totally in character. He was being completely sincere. And so I finally cracked. My lips curved into a bitter smile.
そういえば、岸本のことを聞いたか。まだ入院中らしいぜ。怪我は大したことなかったんだけど、精神的にかなり参ってるらしい。いいか、タク。女を落とすのに一番手っ取り早いのは、弱ってる時に優しくしてやることだ。
Yeah, fuck you, man.
というわけで俺、本気で岸本の見舞いに行こうかなと思ってんだよね。そういえばタクって岸本と知り合いだったよな。な、一緒に行ってくんね。
It was the typical subject matter from Misumi-kun, but that was beside the point. He'd mentioned Elise. With Remy gone, maybe she was someone could turn to. Maybe I could depend on someone like her. I'm sorry. I think that's actually one of the loudest fucking text, like, pieces of text I've ever had to read. Like, ever. In, like, a fucking Let's Play. Like, I can't think of anything else that, like, goes up to that of just, like, what? Oh, God, that was so stupid. God damn it. Okay. Now, here we go. Kishimoto Uis was lying in the hospital bed, idly gazing out the window. No bars lined the outside, a fact which set it apart from those at Arc Heart Medical, where Uis had stayed in the past. All that stood past the window's frame was the landscape of Shinjuku, decorated by skyscrapers and illuminated by the sunset. Flocks of pigeons soared freely through the sky, flapping their wings to their heart's content. Every now and then she would gaze upon the sights with a pained expression. Her sightly, tired eyes were empty and bleak. Her irises reflected nothing. Her lips, which could let flow a voice so beautiful, shook the youth of Shibuya, were now sealed tight. Not even so much as a hum escaped from them. Following her suicide attempt, an event which caused quite a turmoil, she had been admitted to the psychiatric ward of a large hospital in Yokogori. Her injuries were already very nearly healed. According to the doctors, it had been nothing short of a miracle that she had been able to survive a fall from that height, with a one with barely even a scratch. However, she had indeed hit her head fairly hard, and as such she had been rushed to the hospital, primarily so they could see how the situation would develop. It had already been over a week since then. However, despite her having been admitted for such a reason, all it seemed to entail was a few rudimentary tests taken every couple of days or so. Beyond that, she had been rather neglected. Her hospital room was private, with no other beds inside it. Ever since her stay had begun, her desk sword had been leaning against the window. It constantly emitted blue light, yet nobody who visited her ever seemed to notice. Not that there had been many visitors to begin with. Phantasm fans would attempt to force their way into her room daily, but as they always caused a disturbance in the process, the hospital had an excuse to forbid them from visiting her. And since Elise was somewhat detached from her family, there were almost no others who came to visit her. Her fellow band members had made an appearance once, but Elise used that opportunity to announce her decision for the band to break up. They had not contacted her again since.
岸本さん、
Oh boy.
体温計ピピってなりました？
A nurse wearing white scrubs opened the door to the room, then swiftly entered. Louise slowly turned to look at the nurse's face, then took out the phonometer that had been resting under her arm. It was as if she had only just remembered its presence. The nurse took a look at the recorded temperature shown on its digital screen, then took note of it on the clipboard she had brought with her.
37度1分と。ちょっと熱っぽいかしら。ズキズキする。頭。
Louise grimaced in pain once again.
あら、また頭痛？でもそれは薬の副作用よ。気にしなくてもそのうち良くなりますよ。
Having recorded her temperature, the nurse consoled Louise with a kind smile. Her expression was so gentle, it was clear to all how she was able to put her patients at ease. It's like, go bitch. And yet, despite the nurse's attempts, Louise simply pushed her hand against her forehead as she shook it back and forth. Louise had been plagued by mild headaches ever since she had first been hospitalized. They were not especially painful, but they still left her with an uncomfortable feeling that refused to go away, one that felt as if her brain itself was convulsing. It even reached a point where her ability to think was impaired. Damn. As well as this, her body would feel as heavy as lead. Louise had experienced such symptoms in the past, namely when she had been institutionalized at Arcart Medical. Back then, her head had constantly been split apart by painful headaches, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It deprived her of all sleep and emotional stability. Those were the memories she did not want to resurface, the past she had sealed away, the events of around 2 years ago. And yet her headache was causing them to flash back into her mind once more. In them, a dark room, its single window locked behind bars. Apart from the wall in which that window stood, the rest of the walls were covered with mirrors. Louise had been placed in the center of the room, sat in a crude steel chair. She was wearing headgear with countless cables protruding from it. Her hands were tied to the back of the chair. Her head was locked in place, with her chin tilted slightly upward. Not another soul was present in the room. Thus, all that could be heard were the sounds of Louise's labored breathing and the metal groans of the chair she sat upon. Jesus. Saliva trickled down from the corners of her mouth, accompanied by moans akin to those of a beast. If anyone were to hear them, they would never have been able to guess that they would be coming from a girl as young as her. She was being tortured, slow, methodical torture, one that made very, very little sound. The method only involved one single thing, not even an action. A drop of water, falling from above onto her forehead every 5 seconds on the exact same spot. That was all it took. And would continue unrelentlessly for 2 full days. The result, Elise could think only of the drop that would fall next. Yeah, her senses were sharpened to their limits. And each time a drop fell onto her forehead, another hallucination would be born. One in which each and every nerve across her body was plucked out one by one. One in which the bones of her entire skeleton crumbled to dust. One in which her head was pierced by a long, sharp awl. One in which all liquids within her body, including her blood, froze to ice. One in which the skin lining her entire body slowly rotted away before eventually peeling off. Assaulted without end by these sensations, Elise could no longer maintain her sanity. Returning to her senses, she breathed erratically as she tightly gripped the sheets lining the bed. Her body trembled as those dark memories of hers resurfaced in her mind. The nurse that had been in her room just a moment ago was already gone. Dinner time had just arrived at the hospital, and the clamorous sounds that came from it resounded from down the hall. Elise tried to recall the words the nurse had spoken to her right before leaving. Was her headache really just a side effect of the drug she was on? Or had it been caused by her hitting her head, perhaps? Or perhaps it was just a hallucination brought forth by her past memories. She was unable to come to a decisive conclusion. Wiping away the sweat that ran down her forehead, Elise called forth a smile laced with self-loathing.
構わないわ。今さら何をされたって。あれはあの神罰を耐え抜いたんだから。
Divine punishment.
迷わない。私は。
Murmuring perhaps delirium, Elise soon became aware of a sound reverberating throughout the hall. The comforting sound of shoes stepping on the linoleum floor. It was certainly not being made by a nurse, and the sound of footsteps was heading right for the room she was in. Someone knocked on her door, and she sealed her lips tight.
失礼します。
Oh, fuck. That someone was but a single man. He had come bringing gifts, namely a large basket filled with all manner of fruits. She could recognize the man, which was far from a good sign. Thus she stared at him with a dubious glare.
どうも。あ、別に怪しいもんじゃないっすよ。自分は。
知ってるわ。
The man was a detective at the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department. He had once shadowed Elise as she was originally a suspect for the New Gen case. The detective, relieved by her response, scratched his head. His demeanor was unendingly casual.
いやー、嬉しいっす。君みたいな美人に覚えててもらえて。記憶力いいんすね。
The detective moved closer to her bed. Elise briefly glanced at her desk sword leaning against the window. It lay just outside her reach.
今日はお見舞いに来たんすよ。
そうは思えないわ。目的は
You know what? Elise was right about Sula.
鋭いっすね。
The detective flinched very overtly, his reaction perhaps bordering on theatrical. On purpose.
まあ、ちょっと綾瀬ちゃんに聞きたいことがあって。あ、これ、よかったら食べてほしいっす。
The detective smiled innocently, presented the basket he had brought with him, then placed it at Elise's feet without waiting for approval.
うまいっすよ。あと、高かった。
いらない。
まあそう言わず、せっかく買ってきたんで。後でお母さんが来た時にでも切ってもらって。あ、しまった。綾瀬ちゃんはもう何年も両親に会ってないんだったっすね。
Whoa, what the hell are you doing, Scylla? Despite the detective's insensitive remark, Elise felt nothing in response to it. Her ties to her parents had been cut from a very young age. Her parents had a reputation to uphold, so a child that often caused problems like Elise had been inconvenient to them, to say the least. That's right, I think they did mention that beforehand. Who are her parents? Her only remaining contact with them was the wire transfer she received for her living expenses each month, though it could hardly be called that.
申し訳ないっす。
The detective apologized, bowing down hastily. Elise had only just gotten over the shock caused by her flashback, so she was in no mood to speak with him. Nonetheless, she urged herself to talk all the same.
聞きたいことって何？アリバイ？
違うっすよ。それは前に散々聞いたし。もう綾瀬ちゃんの容疑は晴れたっす。君は白、真っ白。
目星はついたの？犯人の。
それは教えられないんすよ。捜査上の秘密っす。
Yeah, truth is, I'm the new Jen Goldberg.
匠。
秘密っす。
The detective smirked. He was attempting to laugh the question away. And yet something unrefined could be seen through the cracks of that smile.
しかし西条くんは不思議な少年っすね。彼を見ていると殺人の容疑者にはとても見えない。もしあれで本当に犯人だったとしたら、まさに人の皮をかぶった悪魔っす。
Alright, now you're just patting yourself on the fucking back.
まだ容疑者なの？彼。
いや、そういうわけじゃないっすよ。
The detective casually denied it with a smile, putting Elise's persistent questions to rest.
ああ、今の話、誰にも言っちゃダメっすからね。情報漏洩すると上司に怒られるんすよ。まあ当然なんすけど。この前も先輩のとばっちりで怒られたばっかで。綾瀬ちゃんも一度会ってると思うんすけど、覚えてるかな。バンさんっていう髪がボサボサで武将髭生やしたおっさんでか。
Elise did remember him. When she had been questioned, that older detective had been even more talkative than the younger one she was conversing with now. His way of speaking had been a lot more assertive as well.
あの人がすぐこのバカって怒鳴るんすよ。そのくせ自分は本来の捜査をせずになんだかわけのわからないことばっか調べてて、挙句の果てに自分まで無理やり付き合わされて、最近胃が痛いんすよね。いやまあ目はいい人っすし、勘が異常に鋭い人で、過去にも難事件をいくつか解決に導いたらしいんすけどね。
その話をするためここに来たのは？
Elise interrupted the man, and the smile quickly soured.
ああ、いや申し訳ないっす。つい愚痴入っちゃったっすね。今の話は全面的に内緒にしてほしいっす。諏訪守、一生のお願いっすよ。
それで？
一つ目はなんであんなことを？
Oh. Despite his ambiguous phrasing, Elise could tell that he was referring to her diving off the school rooftop.
もう何度も話したわ。他の刑事さんに。
邪神王グラジオールの復活を阻止するためですか？
死ぬつもりなんてなかった。魂を一つ上のステージに持っていこうとしただけよ。
That's right.
例の若者の間で話題になった君の歌についても似たようなことを言ってたっすよね。
And that was the second question he had for her. Elise let out a faint sigh.
ニュージェネのことを歌ったものなんかじゃないわ。あの詩はグラジオール記黙示録詩編のインスピレーションを受けて作った第3章102節よ。世界に邪神王グラジオールが現れようとしている。復活を阻止するにはグラジオールが流した黒い血によって作られた7つの杭が必要。
Oh, the seven stakes.
悔いは剣へと形を変え、神罰を乗り越えた7人の黒騎士の手に渡る。目には目を、歯には歯を。邪神を背負いし人間だけが邪神王を滅ぼせるの。
なんか映画みたいっすね。そういう壮大な設定は好きっす。
Always credited the detective in response to his comment.
設定じゃないわ。現実よ。
じゃあ最後の質問っす。
The detective casually brushed away Luisa's objection, though she was all too used to this form of dismissal by now. Not a single person she had told the story to thus far had believed it.
君や西条くんの他にも水明の生徒について何人か洗ったんすけどね。
The detective mumbled to himself as he folded his arms. This was very obviously another act of theatrics, and Luisa had no intention of commenting on it.
何？
そのすごくバカバカしい質問なんすけど、刑事が質問するようなことじゃないんすよね、本当は。子供じみてるっていうか。
そう。質問する気がないなら出て行って。頭が痛いの。
ああ、いや、実はね、バンさんが妙なことを言い出してるんすよ。君たちは魔法使いなんじゃないかって。
Upon hearing that the subject of the remark was plural, Luis raised her eyebrows in suspicion. Oh fuck.
違いますよね。
使えるわ。
As she replied, Luisa's line of sight was directed not towards the man, but towards her hand that lay atop her bed sheets.
綾瀬ちゃんって面白い子っすね。
でも、ニュージェネはグラジオールの騎士と無関係。
ああ、そうっすか。
Oh shit. The detective, completely disinterested in what Luis had just said, brushed off her words once again and began to stretch. The moment he did so, a digital sound suddenly cut through the silence of the room. The detective, surprised by this interruption, reached into the pocket of his suit and took out his cell phone.
まずった。病院って携帯禁止なんすよね。電源オフにしておくの忘れる。うわ、しかも女からだし。
Yeah, certain girl,
付き
huh?
合って4年になるラブラブの彼女がいるんですよ。
Yeah, your girlfriend that whipped out her fucking baby. He turned his phone off with a grin, forcing the caller to hang up. He then turned to Luis once more.
綾瀬ちゃんは映画見るっすか？スパークウォーズって知らない？それに出てくるダース・スパイダー伯爵のテーマなんす。今のメロディ。
Luis had no interest in movies, nor anything of the sort. Having long since decided that she had no obligation to further entertain the detective's questioning, she returned to gazing silently outside the window.
実は自分スパークウォーズオタクなんすよ。あ、興味ないっすか？そりゃ失礼したっす。じゃ、自分はこれで。
See ya, psychopath. With that, the detective concluded the conversation with which she had no partner, then left her hospital room. Elise did not even turn around to watch him go. With the man gone, all that reflected in her eyes was the twilight sky slowly turning indigo. Indigo indeed. So it seems like before the path diverts, they always like to replay the scene that did happen in the original story, but I guess you shouldn't skip it because it kind of sets up the stage as to what's going to happen next. I guess that's the reason why this skip mode doesn't skip those parts, even though we have seen it before. It's just it's like a necessary setup, just in case you forgot about it or something like that. Like, it's a necessary setup for the route scenario. or something to that line, because that's the kind of logic that makes sense to me, and I guess is the reason why the skip button doesn't really work on those scenes, even though we have seen them quite a few times by this point. But yeah, I think this is actually a good stopping point right here, folks, as hopefully next time we will actually get into the main route with Kishimoto and find out who she really is underneath all of that. You know, underneath the Knights of the Black Knights, underneath everything, who she really is, and what is the real Elise underneath all the mythology and religion? Who is she really? And I guess we'll find that out next time. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Return something, put it down in comments below. Check out Discord, in my church, check description below. And yeah, it's been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!